Get started here today with what is a really disturbing incident that took place, and it's now turned into a viral video involving the founder and owner of Barstool Sports that's now headquartered in Chicago's West Loop. But Michael Babcock, executive producer of TMZ Sports, is now joining me with some details of what went down. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Although I wish that it was about something better for us to talk about. Let's just start with why Dave Portnoy was in Mississippi and what a now former Mississippi State University student is accused of doing.
Yeah, so Dave Portnoy was in Mississippi State, or at Mississippi State, I should say, in Starkville before the football game that was on Saturday, Mississippi State and Georgia game. And anyone who's familiar with Dave Portnoy or his Barstool Sports organization may know that he has created this one bite pizza review where he will go to pizza restaurants across the country and he will rate these shops. But it's become incredibly popular and very viral. So these things are a big deal. So he's out there in Starkville at a local pizza shop, and you've got a fairly large crowd that are all there watching Dave film his review. A 20-year-old, like you said, now former student, walks by and yells something that is anti-Semitic. Obviously won't repeat it, but yells something that's very disparaging to Jewish people. Not just that, he also is said to have been throwing coins at Dave Portnoy as this review is going on. So there's a bit of a verbal altercation. Thankfully, nothing turned physical right there on the ground. And the guy who was yelling out the anti-Semitic comments, he left. But there was video of the incident. Obviously, a lot of people out there filming. So it was just a matter of time before this person was going to be identified. And that's exactly what happened. Now, he has withdrawn from Mississippi State, likely because the school told him, if you don't withdraw, we're going to kick you out. We're going to expel you. So he's withdrawn from the university. Not just that, he is now facing a criminal disturbing the peace charge from the local police department. It's a misdemeanor, but nonetheless, it's a criminal charge. So he's been kicked out of school and is also now dealing with the criminal charge, all because of this 1 20-second incident on Friday.
Yeah, not the reason why you want to become internet famous here. 20-year-old Patrick McClintock, I'm seeing here, a junior mechanical engineering major of all things. So by all means, he was a smart young man who did a really dumb thing here, who's been processed and released. So the video went viral, as we're saying. What have people been saying online?
Well, some good, some bad. Look, obviously, this is something I think that we have seen rise across the country. It's troubling and it's scary, especially if you're someone of Jewish faith. And a matter of fact, Dave Portnoy has spoken about that in light of this story, in light of what happened, and just how big of a deal it's become. He says now, he goes, look, I deal with these threats on a day in, day out basis. Nothing necessarily that gets the attention that this incident got. He said, but I'll get messages on social media. I'll get people saying that they want to harm me in a way because of the religion that I am. He said it's gotten so bad that he has 24/7 security now, essentially somebody protecting him around the clock because he doesn't feel safe because, again, he believes that there's anti-Semitism out there and that he is, as a high-profile person, that he's a target. So that's happening. You've also, though, I think you've got people who say, hey, look, for better or worse, free speech is, one of the things that America is built upon. And I think a lot of people, or some people, I should say, are troubled by the fact that somebody gets in trouble, no matter how heinous the comment is, for something that they said. So a lot of fascinating conversations, if nothing else, going on right now that sort of surround this incident.
Yeah, that is an interesting side of it. I mean, even with the immigration issues that we've had here in Chicago, the ongoing conversation there, one of the things that the judge has talked about is that line of free speech and the fact that, well, if people say they don't like you, they want you to get out of here, or even if they use coarse language, it's still just speech. But when does speech turn into something else? And like you said, he said, sadly, this isn't new for him.
No, right. Yeah. I mean, to think that, and he has made a tremendous amount of money, so it's not that he doesn't have it, but just the fact that he would have to pay to have somebody by his side around the clock to protect him, even if it's just a perceived threat, even if there's nobody out there that wishes him to actually do him harm, just the fact that he is concerned enough to say, I'm going to pay somebody around the clock to protect me. I think it's shows the sad state that we're in many ways.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I do want to ask you, do you feel like this is kind of par for the course for social media personalities now?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I mean, there's so many great things, as we all know, about social media, and it's connected people, and there's so much good. But the other side of the coin is there is a lot of ugliness on social media, and it is, I think, in many ways, as we all know, it's allowed people who might have some hate in their heart or just want to be agitators to say things that they would never say if they were face to face with somebody because they were scared of the repercussions or whatever else the fears might be, but they would never say it face to face. But that anonymity that the computer can provide you, that I think that's one of the worst parts of social media for as much good as it does offer too.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you foresee celebrities changing or shifting the way that they interact with the public now that we're seeing more of this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want to throw their hands up, and if you're and Dave Portnoy is a controversial person, and he can give it as much as he can take it. So I don't know that he's ever going to be one that steps away. But I think you've got some people out there who say this is just not worth the trouble. Look, why am I subjecting myself to this abuse day in, day out? And I'm just gonna log off and not deal with it because it's not improving my life in any way, and it's just causing me stress and strife. So I don't think Dave Portnoy will do that, but I do think you're starting to see people react like that. Like, this is just not worth it.
Yeah. And the police have interacted, or they've come out with a statement here saying that they were aware of the video that was circulating, and kind of going back into that issue of free speech, that every person has the right to feel safe and respected, though, in their community. Offensive words alone, they say, are protected, but when behavior disrupts a public event or risks violence, the Starkville Police Department will take steps to help maintain safety and security. Talk about, and we've had many conversations with you, it seems in the last several months especially, about this rise in anti-Semitism and where we go with this and how we come to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it, and obviously you look at some of the incidents that have been happening across the country, and I don't think that there's there's no way to deny that there has been an uptick in anti-Semitism and hate crimes as a whole. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's troubling. I don't think it's the direction that anybody wants to, or any sane or moral people. It's not the direction that they want to see the country go in. Those are the kind of incidents that need to be lessened, not increased. But it doesn't seem like that's happening, and it does seem like things are getting worse. And I fear for where this ultimately goes, because it seems like, especially amongst a segment of the young population of college students, like we said, this guy otherwise seemed like a very smart person. I mean, with the major and everything else he had going on, you see this is an educated person. Well, those are pretty hateful ideas, and if people like that are thinking in that way, I think a lot of people are probably fearful for the future and what this country might look like going forward.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that particular case, like you mentioned from the outset, that he has withdrawn from school. I was looking around the background of your newsroom there. I saw Chris, and I don't know if I saw Harvey go by, but I do see a big gathering over there. Let me ask you, I wonder if people are starting to have a conversation about Diddy. I know there's some big news there in the day ahead. Can you kind of address that while we have you here?
There have been a lot of talk about Diddy. I mean, the reality with Diddy is he has obviously been in jail or been behind bars since September of 2024. But he just about 2 weeks ago got moved from the temporary, essentially a holding facility in Brooklyn, where people, inmates are housed before or during their trial, before sentencing. He is now in his more permanent prison, a place called Fort Dix in New Jersey. He's got more freedom, but he has also gotten in trouble since he's been there. There was an incident where Diddy was said to have been drinking basically a homemade brew, a homemade alcohol that the inmates will make. And so he has, with the increased freedom, he has found himself in some trouble after, by and large, being a model inmate throughout his entire trial. So he is set to get out now, May 8th, 2028. But if he gets in trouble behind bars, that is something that could certainly be pushed back. And maybe he doesn't get out in May of 2028. Maybe it's actually later than that.
Oof. All right. Well, we had one day of talking about Diddy today, and that's the day after we were talking about Ghislaine Maxwell and what's going on in her prison. So I'm sure you all have plenty to get to today. I won't hold you up any longer, but thank you for your time.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me out.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon. Thank you so much. It's